Did Melania Trump just get caught in her biggest grift yet? Melania Trump is now making what seems like a final plea as the Trump gravy train comes to an end. I think Melania is terrified seeing the polls of Donald Trump down against Kamala Harris. I think she is terrified seeing lawsuit after lawsuit against Donald Trump racking up these convictions, the likelihood that if he loses, Donald Trump will go to prison, and Melania is now taking extreme measures, which I will say are very kind of standard practice for Melania Trump and the Trump family. I'm going to get into the latest. My name is Brett Meiselas here at the MeidasTouch Network. Hey, remember to subscribe. We're on our way to 3.5 million subscribers, but we can't do it without you. If you're already subscribed, go and check and hit the notification bell so that you're made aware anytime we post a new video. Okay, let's get to the breaking news of the day. Here it is from CNN. CNN requested an interview with Melania Trump. Her book publisher asked for $250,000 in exchange. Let me just say, that is not something that is done. I've never seen this in my life in media. It is absolutely outrageous, and it is a sign of Melania Trump's desperation. This article came out in the Vanity Fair this week where they said, quote, Melania Trump renegotiated her prenup in case Trump's legal problems bleed him dry. I think Melania is terrified right now, staring down about 30 days or so until Election Day and the likelihood that if Donald Trump loses, he will be broke and he will likely be sent to prison. Melania is trying to ramp up all the grift she possibly can in these final days. Because this all happened with CNN, I do want to check in with CNN to hear the report from them and their response. Listen to what they had to say, and listen to what they had to say also about the publisher's excuse for this request. Watch.
CNN has tried to interview the former First Lady ahead of the release of her memoir, but her publisher responded with an unusual demand to CNN, a $250,000 price tag. CNN's Hadass Gold and I broke the story together today. Hadass, good to see you. So help our viewers understand from a media perspective how unusual a demand such as this is with such an incredibly high price tag nonetheless.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Most legitimate news organizations would never pay a public figure, especially the spouse of the Republican candidate for president, for an interview. Full stop. They just would not do that. Most news organizations have rules against any sort of payment to political organizations or to a candidate. So they would never pay for an interview with the spouse of the Republican candidate for president. And CNN has not and will not pay for such an interview. Now, in the past, media organizations have paid, especially when it comes to licensing photos or trying to get interviews with people who are involved in things like scandals or murders or the like. But paying for something related to politics, that in particular crosses essentially all of the media ethical boundaries. Now, a former First Lady being paid for a speaking engagement or for a book advance, that is not necessarily unusual. But Melania Trump is not just the former First Lady. She is also the spouse of the Republican candidate for president. So it is very unusual also that her team would send such a request and such a high amount for requests to a news organization. And let's be clear. Now, the publisher now says, after we reached out to them, that this was a miscommunication. But it's very clear in the conversations with CNN and in the contract that we've seen that they knew who they were dealing with, because the contract very clearly lays out that it's CNN that the contract is with and that it is for an interview.
Meanwhile, just this week, Melania Trump was on Fox with Hannity. Do you think she got $250,000 to sit down and say things like this?
Wow, you were expecting it all.
I did, because I saw how they treat him, how the media was against him. I think they are afraid of his strength, and he was leading this country with peace through strength.
Yeah.
Or do you think she got paid $250,000 by Fox to sit down with host Ainsley Earhardt and spread conspiracy theories about the shootings against Donald Trump, who, by the way, were committed by, the first one was a registered Republican who had Trump flags in his yard. The second one was an individual who had voted for Donald Trump in 2016. But Melania Trump had the nerve to go on Fox and say this.
And then we were told this week, and we were told that authorities have already known this for a while, that there was an Iranian plot to kill your husband. So I watched this video that you released on social media questioning the first assassination attempt. For the second one, if they knew that there was this plot, why didn't they sweep the golf course?
You know, it's interesting how quiet and everything became, all of the mainstream media. There were a few days reporting about July 13 event, and everything then became quiet. So I had a lot of questions. What's going on? This is not normal. And is it really shocking that all this egregious violence goes against my husband? Especially that we hear the leaders from the opposition party and mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because that cannot continue.
Letter was very powerful. What made you get to the point of writing that letter?
That's how I felt. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt.
And now, within the past week, during these interviews, Melania Trump said the following, and I just want to point out the hypocrisy here, okay? Just give me 1 second. She said, the country is suffering. People are not able to buy usual necessities for their family. Now, I'm going to give you one piece of evidence, Melania, that flies in the face of your remarks. And I'm going to give it to you from the same exact day that you made those comments. On that same day, your husband, maybe you would know this if you lived in the same state, but your husband decided to sell $100,000 watches. Yep, $100,000 watches, which, by the way, are just really the concepts of a watch. If you look at the frequently asked questions, these watches don't exist. You don't have any recourse if you don't get them, and you don't get your money back. No refunds. So on the same day Melania Trump is saying that, Donald Trump is grifting with his $100,000 watches. Do you remember the promotion that Melania Trump has had for this book? It's just been one weird thing after the next. She did this post where she said, "Why do I stand proudly behind my nude modeling?" Like, are these the things that a former first lady who is supposed to be focused on right now, with just around 30 days until election day, till one of the most important elections of our lifetime, the most important election, where her husband is running? The whole thing is so baffling. Melania Trump is also wasting her time. They're selling these Melania Trump bridal figurines with 40 Swarovski crystals for $99.99. Like, what are we doing here, folks? What are we doing here? The grift doesn't end. And this comes after the story that came out just about a week ago or so at this point, where we heard that Melania Trump was paid for a rare appearance at a political event, and nobody knows who cut the check. This was an event at Mar-a-Lago, so at the place where at least her husband lives. She did this event with the Log Cabin Republicans, and I'll read you the report from CNN right here. Melania Trump has barely been seen on the campaign trail this year. One of the few times she has appeared at a political event, she's received a six-figure paycheck, a highly unusual move for the spouse of a candidate. The former First Lady spoke at 2 political fundraisers for the Log Cabin Republicans this year, and she was paid $237,500 for an April event. According to former President Donald Trump's latest financial disclosure form, the payment was listed as a, quote, speaking engagement. Trump's latest disclosure form said Melania was paid by the Log Cabin Republicans for the April fundraiser, but it's a mystery who actually cut the check. Charles Moran, president of the Log Cabin Republicans, told CNN earlier this month the group did not put up the money for her to speak, and the disclosure form did not give any more information about the source of the payment. Mystery cash ending up in Melania Trump's pocket, and that appears to be her rate. This sort of $237,000, $250,000 number. And we did our report on this here at the MeidasTouch Network. And if you recall, we've been reporting on this far before CNN has, because this has happened at various moments throughout this campaign. Here's what CNN had to say about this in the same article. Records show that Melania Trump was also paid $250,000 for a log cabin Republican event in December 2022, one of 3 payments for $250,000 or more she received for speaking that month alone, just after the former president announced he was running for re-election, according to Trump's prior year financial disclosure form. One of the events took place in Florida, and the other was for a California group, Fix California, which was founded by Rick Grinnell, who did not respond to multiple requests for comment. The former First Lady was also paid $155,000 by a Trump-aligned super PAC called Make America Great Again, for a speech she gave in Palm Beach, Florida in December 2021 before Trump was a candidate. So Melania Trump is just caking it. She is just raking it in. All those donations, keep giving them, MAGA. They're going straight into Melania Trump's pockets and Alina Habba's pockets. You're making all these people very, very, very wealthy. And let's look at that financial disclosure form about those past events. You see some of those events where Melania is listed as engaging in a speaking engagement. You see one here where she was paid $300,000. You see another where she was paid $250,000, another where she was paid $250,000. Those events were all in December 2022, and we had reported on those back at the time when these disclosures were released. This is all very suspicious stuff, very unusual stuff. I have never seen in my life the family of a presidential candidate or a presidential candidate himself profiting so much from running for office. The whole thing is a grift. And in addition to that, Melania's lifestyle was being completely paid for as well. Like, do you remember our reporting on this? Here's from our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, who had posted this photo of Melania from a few months back. This was Melania with her personal stylist, Herve Pierre Brallard. He's paid $18,000 a month from Trump's Save America PAC, despite the fact that Melania hadn't attended like any campaign events at the time, didn't want to be seen in public with her husband, and really hasn't been out there at all. Like, that Log Cabin Republican event was kind of the only sort of campaign event that she was even at. She's been completely absent on the campaign trail, yet this campaign money is being funneled straight to her in massive, massive, massive amounts. And if that's not enough, she keeps selling these trinkets and these products. Like, just last week, she was selling this Vote Freedom necklace for $600 on her website. It looks like she's posting kind of new products on her website and on her social media feed every day to get people to give her more money. And she just kind of steals and grifts from everybody and everything. I mean, do you remember she couldn't even give her own original speech at the RNC? Do you remember when Melania plagiarized Michelle Obama? Like, this tells me everything about who this person is. Watch.
The values that you work hard for what you want in life.
For what you want in life.
That your word is
that your word is your bond. That you do what you say you're going to do.
Keep your promise.
That you treat people.
That you treat people with respect.
With dignity and respect, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
And who would do such a thing? What sort of family would engage in such shameless grifts over and over and over again? Oh, that's right. I forgot we're talking about the Trumps here. Well, remember this post from Eric Trump? Maybe like a week or two ago, Eric Trump wrote, "This is a scam. Lara Trump and Tiffany Trump's Twitter profiles have been compromised." And he was speaking about posts that were made from those accounts about this World Liberty Financial. This is some sort of cryptocurrency business. Now, you know why people were confused and thought that those were real grifts that were going on and not these scams? Because there were real grifts. There was just somebody had hacked their account about a week early before they announced their own cryptocurrency grift with the same name. Here's Donald Trump's post just about a week or so later, where he said, "I promised to make America great again, this time with crypto. At World Liberty Fi is planning to help make America the crypto capital of the world. The whitelist for eligible persons is officially open. This is your chance to be part of this historic moment. Join." And then he has a link to his crypto scheme that he's engaging in now. Just grift after grift after grift. And you really get the sense that this entire Trump family right now is grifting like there's no tomorrow. They're like, hey, listen, We got what, like 30 days left with this thing? We better do everything we can to extract as much money from our followers as we can, because that could be it for us. Like, we're gonna have to challenge the election again if we lose, and we're gonna have to pull the whole stop the steal stuff and steal money that way. Let's just do whatever we can right now. This is disgraceful. It is so unbecoming of anybody running for office of the presidency or any of their family members, and it's just so shameful to see this sort of behavior day in and day out. But you know that we are going to call it out right here on the MeidasTouch Network every step of the way, but we can't do it without you. So remember to hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3.5 million subscribers. Hit the subscribe button, and if you've already done that before, hit the notification bell next to the subscribe. It helps us to get out the message because it alerts you every time we post a new video. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back in a bit. See you soon.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.